Hello, good evening and welcome back to the GSMC. It has been a little while because I moved house, but we are back with round 3 of the GSMC Revengeance Cup and we are at the Circuit of the Americas in the USA. I hope you are all doing very well this evening. We have some very exciting stuff for you here. We have one brand new team in AMD Captain now. We have some new drivers, we have new teams, we've got a full house, so we are just waiting to start. It looks like we just lost a few drivers here, but there's no problem. Let's us ride on board with someone. So as you can see, we are here, round 3 of 8 in the GSMC, 40-minute race. We are at a 5.5 kilometers, 3.4 mile circuit here at COTA this evening. Let us bring up our current season standings, shall we? Let's have a look here. So we have Frozen Droid currently in P1 with Spook in number 2 with the same amount of points, 35 points. Frozen Droid is ahead because he won first, basically he won our first round. Then we have Twinfo in 3rd, followed by Jack, Ricky Tan and JR. Aski is in 7th. Aski, hello in the chat. Unfortunately he cannot make it this evening, which is a real shame. Hopefully we'll see him for the next one. Schmidt in 8th, Coolest Guy in 9th, and in 10th place we have Ray. Then we have in 11th Fulcom, 12th Jordan, 13th Gagan, 14th Wild Boys, Flyland 15th, English in 16th, Korsky 17th, and Flea down there in 18th place. I'm a little worried we have lost a few races here. Hopefully they will all come back in. So we are currently on board with Mason, this guy, in the Audi as he goes around this windy track here at COTA. Everyone's struggling, I think, a little bit with the first sector. It is very flowy, left, right, tightening chicanes. The second half of the track really opens up and it allows the drivers to stretch their legs. It's been interesting with the different vehicles here. Different cars are handling differently. More people are joining back in. So the race director is on top of this. Ken, do you have any idea what's going on? Okay, so yeah, we're hearing nothing here. But that's fine, they've got 6 minutes left of free practice before we go into qualifying. If we have to hold at that point, we will, to make sure everyone gets back into the session. We do have our team radios as per usual. I will get another one joining. There we go, English is in. Okay, so I think there's only 1 or 2 left, which is perfect for us. So let us have a ride on board with one of the new guys. Kruger's down there, English is down there. Okay, here we go. Here's English 52 with the Space Racing Audi. He is leaving the pits. He has a brand new teammate in Flying Rhino. He will probably be joining very shortly, hopefully. Still hard to hear you over the cars, says Aski. Okay, this should help. Let me turn that down and turn that one up. That should help a little bit. If not, do let me know. All of my settings have changed since I moved, which is nice. Okay, we've got David Krug out on track there? No. Let's have a look at Jack then. Jack's one of the favourites in the Ferrari. Going through, you have to look at this, like all the cars are all nose to tail as they go through this section of the track. Luckily these cars aren't massivly aero dependent, so the aero wash won't be too bad for that first section for them. 4 minutes left of practice and we're still waiting on a few drivers to join us here. Let's join the Space Racing team and see if there's any comms going on down there.
Straight master go.
Nope, there we just got a lot of screaming. But that is okay. We are waiting for a few people to join. I'm a little bit concerned that some new people might be struggling getting back into the server. But it's okay, we can hold. Let us. So, we see Ricky Tan actually straight out of the box with the fastest lap with a 206.2. I have seen 2:04s, I think, in qualifying, which is an extremely fast lap. So we see Liam Fraser actually is now joined as well, which is cool. Liam Fraser is also known as Rhino. He is the teammate for English 52 in the space racing team. We're just waiting for Captain Hugo. I don't think I've seen Hugo in the match, but interesting. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, so let us have a look at what's going on. So Ricky Tan still fast at the back. Frozen Droid is always fast as well. Obviously Ricky Tan now peeling away into the pit lane. Let's ride with Frozen Droid. It is actually Mr. Frozen Droid's birthday today, so everyone wish him a happy birthday. He won't tell us how old he is, but I'm sure he's old enough as he's now joined Spitz. I'm sure he wants a perfect birthday present with a pole position and a win here at COTA to keep his dreams alive, but he's now got the max amount of ballast that we run here. Absolutely more than 2, ASCII. Yeah, he's definitely more than 2. Yeah, so we do have the top 3, which is Spook, ASCII, sorry, not ASCII, Spook, Frozen Droid, and Twin Flow with the ballasts, so 60 kilograms, 50 kilograms, and 40 kilograms respectively, because they are the top 3 in the championship, as we have shown. So we see Frozen Droid exiting the pit lane to continue on his way, to probably just to test a little bit to see how badly this ballast is helping him, because they don't get to test the ballasts up until this point in the weekend. Let's have a look with Liam Fraser, who's our brand new driver here, otherwise known as the Flying Rhino, in the space racing liveried Audi. Oh, a little bit sideways on entry there, but this car just sounds fantastic. I love the sound of the Audi. It's probably the best sounding vehicle in the GT3 pack by far, as that thing just screams along. Who else have we got here? We've got Jordan setting a nice time. Oh, we've got a little stutter there as we see David Kruger now joined. Perfect. We are back up to 13. I think that is our limit. Happy to see that here. 1 minute 30 left remaining of the practice session here before we move into qualifying. We have a few drivers as well who've done very little practice. Mr. Oblong and Mr. Kajaksu literally have just turned up. But yeah, look at Kajaksu in the BMW. We don't get to see many of these here. And we do have 2 this evening, which is amazing. As we see Kajaksu running through on the BMW. Just getting to grips. No Wild Boys. That is a very good point. Wild Boys is another late arrival. Let us jump in board with driver racing.
I don't know what it does.
Apparently they don't know what it does.
120, especially, let's say, 1.
Lynchy says, come on, Brum Boys. Hopefully the team radio is a little bit louder as well, actually, so you guys can hear that a little bit clearer. Hello, Lynchy. How are you? I hope you are well. Dude, we do miss your face here. Oh, I just saw someone spinning off backwards there. That looked like an Audi of the coolest guy. And it was indeed. And he's returned to the pits. But yeah, literally, we miss you here, man. Hopefully we get you back here soon. Team comms are good, says ASCII. Perfect. Let's ride on Oblong. Oblong is in the pits. Not interested. What about Mr. Jordan then in the Farmer Joe racing liveried car, which is your teammate ASCII, so you should be cheering this gentleman on. Yeah, Lynchy, we know, man. We know. It doesn't stop us from missing your face and voice here. But the Brum Boys, the Spook has knocked Ricky Tan off the top in the practice, as we have come to the end of the session, but only just by 0.2 of a second has he gone faster. As we are watching Jordan down in P7, going through to complete his lap. He's definitely improved as Mr. Jordan. 7th is a great place to start out of 14 potentially. We're still waiting for Wild Boys though. Wild Boys does like a late arrival. I'm Dead Happy says, whoop, hello, I'm Dead Happy. How are you? I hope you are well this evening. So we are just waiting for what he can join through qualifying. So hopefully we can get him in, but we will push into qualifying because is off the latest. We see Jordan now going through the last sector. This is a very, very tight and tightening right hand. Let's come on board. So you sort of need to be off the power, get it inside, turn it through, just really scrub the left hand tire. This track is really abrasive on the brakes, a little wide there. He's got to run wide on the exit, but keeps the car within the track limits, which is nice. But he's going to go back into the pit lane, it seems. I'm dead happy. Says, let's see if the Wonton boys can sneak across the line like a Chinese spy balloon across the US border, baby. Wow, that is a reference I haven't heard for a while. A Chinese spy balloon across the border. Yes, they are very fast. Actually, Twin Float has just gone fastest as well overall with a 205. He's in a 205.88. So that is very, very fast. The two Wonton boys are basically odds favourites, I think, for this evening's race. But Frozen Droid is probably not enjoying the ballast right now, so we'll see how he gets on with that. But that is the end of practice session. I think all the drivers are in a pit lane, so we will be rolling on into qualifying shortly. We get a 15-minute qualifying session for these guys to set their fastest laps on, and that will start our start of a race. Again, normal 40-minute race following. It's exciting. I'm excited for this one. Can you tell? Because we haven't had one for so long. So let's go into qualifying. We'll be back in a second. We are into qualifying and the cars are on the way. We will continue on with qualifying while we wait to see if Wild Boys will join in. I don't know if he's messaged our race director or not yet. We will find out. But qualifying is underway. We are starting our 15 minutes now. Who's at the front of the grid? It's probably one of the full Wonton boys. And I think it is Mr. Spook with Frozen Droid. A crispy spy balloon says, I'm dead happy. So we just watched them on their out laps as they warm up. So yeah, they're all nose to tail. So we've got Twin Flow, Spook, Frozen Droid out. We see Wild Boys back. I can see he's just started up the game, so he should be with us very shortly. Fingers crossed. Let us actually, since I'm dead happy here, let's listen into the full Wonton team comms.
I'm confused.
I just dropped the radio a tiny bit, like one click, and it's made it a lot cooler. So
Yeah.
maybe consider it a race, maybe not for a quali.
Yeah, I'm not to do it now. I'll do it when I'm back in.
These guys are all business. They're talking about dropping radiator settings here on their outlet. They are all business, these guys. Whereas if we jump on board the drive-by racing team, they're probably singing songs to each other, trying to get Wild Boys back into the server. Terabyte, good evening, Boost. Good to be back. Terabyte, it is great to be back. Welcome on board. You've made it just in time for qualifying. They are all on their out laps as it stands, about to start their quick laps. We're going to ride the first one on board with Spook because it's bound to be a good one. Just for your recap, Terabyte, we are at the Circuit of the Americas in the USA. It is a 15-minute qualifying followed by a 40-minute race. And we have potentially 14 drivers if we can get Mr. Wild Boys back into the session. Let's keep an eye. So as we see Spook now crossing the line to start his first flying lap, goes up the hill. This hill is massive looking when you're in the car. Brakes and gets a really tight line actually, I've noticed. So Spook's braking and turning in all the way up the hill, but using the hill basically to his advantage. Gets on the power so early down the hill. He's so smooth through here, watching him compared to other drivers. Let the weight shift over to the right hand side, then to the left, just off the power slightly, just touching as he rides through, goes back through. Look at that, it's just so smooth as he runs through these corners, through the double apex, gets the car just turning. Look at that, up by 1/10 already through the first sector as he runs through now to finish the squigglies through the first sector and powers down now into the second very fast sector with a really long back straight. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Absolutely, I'm dead happy. Genuinely, I was telling that to another driver this afternoon. who basically drives on the edge all the time. And I had to just be like, look, just slow down the 10% and you'll be fine. As I'm just seeing Wild Boys' icon popping up in my Steam list as he joins and rejoins R Factor. So hopefully we can get him in fairly soon. But the team comms are probably going to be fairly quiet as these guys are concentrating. But look at that, yeah, Spook up by 2 tenths as well in the second sector. 2 tenths of what? I don't know because he hasn't set a time yet. But this is looking like a very good lap. Don't forget, he does have ballast on board as well for his qualifying session, so this won't be the fastest lap, which shouldn't be the fastest lap that he ever produced. Look at that, just so nice and flat through that last right-hander. That really shreds your tyres, that does. Gets the car turned in nicely. Doesn't run too wide on the exit curb, keeps it nicely inside. Early on the brakes, gets the car rotated in. Nice on the power, runs just onto the curb to give himself the widest line as he now powers down the start-finish straight, and he sets a time of a 2:05.920 to go top of the list. But he is the only one to set a time, and we're just waiting for the next driver, which is Frozen Joy, who is 1.8 seconds behind. Twin Flow tops that just by 6 thousandths of a second. Ricky Town a long way back, actually 9 seconds off, so he must have had a mistake lap. Jordan there in 5th, Jack actually now in 4th, and we're just seeing all the times file in. Jackson did a great time considering he's done no practice whatsoever. Gets in there with a 2:09.977 as we see the coolest guy going through Frozen Twin. We see Wild Boys finally joined. Amazing. So we have our 14 drivers in as we're just watching the grid populate with the first set of times. We see yellow flag in sector 1 as we ride on board with Frozen. Let's actually ride with, who should we have a look with? Let's look at Ricky Tag, because he must have had a mistake on his previous lap. He's down 3 tenths on the first sector alone, so this might not be his fastest lap to go. We do have 9 minutes left, so we have a good few laps for people to do. But yeah, the surprise, English 52 up there in 4th, our new guy, and Krager as well, he's up there in 3rd, just 1.5 seconds behind Twin Flow and Spook. I think these times are going to come down and condense a little bit. Everyone's just sort of getting through their first runs, getting their tyres up to temperature. Let us have a look here. So we've got Wild Boy still in the pits. Is he going to exit the pits? Not at the moment, so let's continue watching Mr. Ricky Tan. He's up a tenth in his second sector, which is a nice job. So down in the first, up in the second, but he was a long way. Yeah, he's 9 seconds back, so yeah, he should be able to pull a lot of that time. He must have had a spin somewhere. Maybe in this third sector. We'll see from his third sector time when he beats it how much up he was. Through the last corner now, comes crosses the line. A line is really early, crosses the line now, up into 4th place. So yeah, he must have had a spin in that last sector. Only a second off in the last sector this time rather than 9. He goes up into 4th place with Frozen Joy jumping up into 3rd place just ahead of him. And now we're waiting for the other guys. Let's have a look with our new driver Kruger in the BMW. He's in the pit lane, which is a shame. Okay, everyone's favourite, Mr. Jack in the Ferrari. Let us ride with him. He's on an outlap as it stands. Currently in P9, 3.73 seconds off the pole sitter. This is going to be a very interesting grid at the top, I think, with 14 drivers. Wild Boys is still in the pits. I wonder if he's still having some problems. Let's listen to the drive-by racing team, see if we can hear anything. No, just pure concentration from these boys here. So not a lot going on the drive-by racing team. I know a good one to check in on is the Kamikaze racing team. This is Oblong and Mason. Let's see what they have to say. Nope, again, everyone is heading the game. No one is willing to talk. 7 minutes remaining of qualifying. We see Jack run wide at the top of the hill. Hopefully that doesn't punish his lap, but it might well do scrap his lap. We'll have to see at the end of the lap. As we see Twin Flow and Spook still very close together. No one thinks change at the top as we get Jack really sideways there through the S's. Keeps the car going, but it looks like he is abandoning this lap. Yeah, he's definitely scrubbed this lap. 1.4 seconds off. Gone wide everywhere. Brings the car to a halt and has returned back to the pit lane. So he is going to go again. Wild Boy still in the pits. Hopefully we can see him out soon. Who should we ride on board with? Is Mr. Kruger out on track? He is. Mr. Kruger, David Kruger is out on track. Let us ride with this beautiful BMW. We don't get to see much of these. We have 2 in the race this evening. As he powers on, 6 minutes remaining of the session. Nice, he goes through, look, gets the car swung over to the right hand side, early on the brakes, get it turned in, nice, just misses the apex. Cuts across, doesn't run wide on the exit, gets the car nice and he pitches in. Oh, nice apex there, runs on the exit, could probably run a little bit wider on that curve just to straighten up. As he powers down the straight and he crosses the line, and does he improve his time? He doesn't improve his time, he still remains in 5th place, just behind Ricky Tan by 7 thousandths of a second. And we see a Wild Boys out on track just ahead. Wild Boys is on an outlap. We have him finally in the race with 5 minutes to go. He does need to get out of the way of Mr. Kruger. He does so nicely, cuts across the track, allows Kruger through. Let's watch on board with Wild Boy since we were so desperate to get him back into the race. Let's see what time he can set. He's probably going to get 1 or 2 flying laps if he's lucky. At 2 minutes a lap, yeah, he's probably going to get 2, but he's going to have to hustle around to get these done. Anything changing on the scoreboard? We currently still have Twin Flow ahead of Spook, ahead of Frozen Droid, ahead of Ricky Tan. We have our new driver David Kruger in 5th place in the AMD Captain Now team, shall I say. Oh, I've just seen a change there. English 52 has jumped ahead of Ricky Tan. He's gone up ahead of Ricky Tan, so he is now in 4th place. Only 4 thousandths of a second faster, so Ricky Tan now down into 5th place. He did manage to get into a 2:05 in the practice just before qualifying, so he might need to just channel that inner Brum boy, shall I say, from Lynchy, the inner Brum boy, and try and pull something special out of the back. But we are going to ride on board with this man. Actually, Ricky Tan is just ahead on a lap, is he? He is. Look at this. He's up by 2 thousandths of a second through the first, up by 1/10 for the second. Can he hold on to this into the third? Lynchy just sent you a picture in Discord, please. I have seen it, Lynchy. I am very jealous of the beer. I have work tomorrow and I really want one. But yeah, good on you, man. Looks good. Let's see if Ricky Tan can hold it together. Gets the car. Look at that rotation of the car through that corner. That looked impressive as he crosses the line. Oh, look at that. A 2:06 jumps him up into 3rd place. So Ricky Tan in P3 with a 2:06.035. 2 tenths behind Twin Flow. Oh, and we see Spook actually jump to the top of the pile. Spook now up with a 2:05.538. Drops Twin Flow down into 2nd place. So it's going to be anyone's game between the 2 Wonton boys at the top of the grid. We see Frozen Droid seems to be struggling with the balance. He comes out now for his final run of the session. But while he's doing that, Wild Boys, let's watch Wild Boys' final lap. It goes through the S's, runs a little bit deep, but it's a double apex, so he can get the car back through to the right. Nicely slowed down, runs a little bit wide up through this right-hander. Gets the car back in, but he's going to slide him down for this left. Gets on the power nicely. The drive-by racing livery is looking fantastic as he powers down out of the first sector. He's doing a really nice job. Looks like his teammate is just behind him. Gets the car rotated through, or a little bit squirrely on the power on the exit as they power on down the long back straight. One Askey, Richie's starting back of the grid, isn't he? No, Askey, that is for the GSME. This is the GSMC. So that doesn't apply here. And we see Wild Boys now nicely on the brakes. Gets the car rotated in. Oh, nice apex there from Wild Boys actually. Could run a little bit wider to carry a little bit more speed, but does really well. Let's see where this is going to put him in. Gets through this. This is a kind of technical twisty section here. Oh, it looks like it locked the brake a little bit. Runs really wide. Oh, it gets a half spin on, but gets the power down. You need to complete this lap, Wild Boys, to finish up. Is he going to abandon? Yeah, he's going to abandon this lap and let Jack through. That is a real shame. That was looking very positive up until that point. He's going to get one more stab, and this will be his final stab at the track. Anything changed up the top here? We've got our other new driver, Liam Fraser, here up into 7th place. He's down on this lap, so he's not going to improve here. Mason is in the pits. So that is Mason's qualifying over, so he's not going to get a better time than a 2:08.210. We see Ricky Tan also in the pits, so he's not going to improve his time. Spook is in the pits as well, so Twin Flow could improve his. Let's see, he's down a 10th in the first sector. Gets the car rotated in. Oh, look at that. Just about manages to get the car stopped, but it's going to slow him down this straight. He's going to be slow through this line here as he powers down a straight in the Aston Martin. Let's see what he can do. I'm just looking around to see if anyone else is on particularly quick laps. We need to see what Wild Boys is doing. We will cut back to him when he's further around his lap. He did a 2:19 on the lap he abandoned. Oh, we see actually Twin Flow up a 10th in the second sector. So he was down a 10th and up a 10th. So he's just about up. But he needs a whole 10th. So this third sector needs to be something super special. Ads says, I'm dead happy. No, oh no, not Ads, not at this time. Hopefully we can get you back in before the ad finishes. We have 3 seconds left of qualifying. And qualifying is finished. So anyone on the lap can finish, but no more laps can be started. We see Twin Flow now through the final sector. Hard on the brakes, gets the car rotated in, needs to carry a lot of speed. Misses the apex there by a mile, but it's probably going to carry more speed down straight. Crosses the line now. Does it go faster? He doesn't go faster, so he doesn't get to continue. It was 3 attempts up, but not a personal sector there on the end. Let's watch Wild Boys. Let's see where he's at. I'm dead happy to screw you, Audible. Absolutely. I was see Wild Boys locking up. He's going to make the same mistake again. He's going to spin on the exit. Oh no, Wild Boys. The same mistake on 2 flying laps, but he seems like he's back up to speed a little bit faster, so he might be able to improve his time. Although I'm not sure by how much. Actually, let's listen to him.
Carnage. Is that him? Yeah.
Yeah, Wild Boy says absolute carnage. He has spun again. Is he going to jump into the pit lane, or is he going to complete his lap? He's going to complete his lap. I'm not sure what the stewarding might say if he completes his lap and beats Jordan, but let's see. Crosses the line now. Does improve his time, but doesn't beat anyone. So he starts at the back of the grid. Who else we got out? We've got Kajax, who's still out on track. Oh, he's up by 9 tenths for his first sector, but he looks like he's abandoned his second. He probably run wide there, so he hasn't got a second sector. And he returns back to the pits. English 52 is out, but he's 7 tenths down on his middle sector. Oh, and he spins it. He spins it on the final sector in the final straight. So he's now in the pits. So that looks like our grid has been formed. Let me make sure I save that. Perfect. So we will be popping off to the race very shortly. Yeah, 40-minute race with this grid. 14 drivers, different cars, different abilities. This is going to be something special, let me tell you. So we're just waiting for the race to go into our warm-up session. And that is now. So we are in the warm-up session. So this is just for us to make sure that everyone is settled, everyone is happy, everyone is good in the car. And it seems like we still have all 14 drivers. It is looking good.
All aboard. So we're just going to give it 60 seconds and then move on.
So that was our race director saying we're going to give it 60 seconds and we're going to push straight to race. So we're going to push to race with 9 minutes remaining of the warm-up, which is good. As we see Frozen Droid, I think. Yep, Frozen Droid trying to get a little extra practice in before we start. Hopefully the audible ad has finished. I'm dead happy, so you are now back with us. And you don't miss the start of the race. It could be worse. It could be right at the start of the race, which would be horrendous. I'm back. Happy days. Three full ads. Oh my god, I'm going to get some payment out of this today. So we see Frozen Droid now just out on track, probably testing out full fuel load coupled with his ballast as well. So where is he starting? P3 as it stands. So yeah, he's probably just testing out everything. Oh, looking at the car sliding a little bit on the rear. Probably not massively happy. Actually, let's see what they are saying. Top Gear Racing. We just get a little bit of Schmidt yawning, which is nice. Okay, race
Alright, we're moving on.
We are moving on. Happy days. So we are going into the race. So we will see you in a second. Okay, we are back. We are into the race here in the GSMC at Circuits Americas. They have 50 seconds to ready up and get on to the start-finish line. Let me make sure I get my replay event set. Okay, replay event is good to go. So we are just waiting for the one-ton boys to ready up. We see the grid form up. Don't forget we do have a formation lap ready to go. So everyone's just lined up on the grid. Look at this. This is probably the best looking grid in all of virtual motorsport. Look at these guys. The two one-ton drivers, 1 and 2, looking fantastic there. Oh, go Brum boys, says Lynchy. Lynchy is also a fellow Brum boy. And he would have been in that beautiful Golf livery, the Aston Martin this season. So while that is going on, let us look at our starting order, shall we? So we have Spook in P1, followed by Twin Flow in P2, Frozen Droid in P3, and Ricky Tan in the Brum Boys machine in P4. In P5 we have David Kruger, brand new in the BMW, English 52 also new in Space Racing, and Liam Fraser in the other Space Racing team 7th, with Mason, the coolest guy, in 8th place. In 9th we have Schmidt, in 10th we have Jack in the drive-by racing team car, Kajaksu is in 11th in the BMW, Oblong is in 12th place in the sister Kamikaze racing team, and then we have Jordan in the Farmer Joe racing team in 13th, and at the back of the grid but with a late entry is Mr. Wild Boys. I'm so glad to have Wild Boys. I'm dead happy says they were slightly late as they had to perform an ancient wonton ceremony, dropping a spicy wonton into the tank. If that gives them the extra speed that they need, that gives them the extra speed that they need. So let us bring up our driver box so everyone can see, as we see the cars now single file, just warming up their tyres, getting everything ready. We are on board with Frozen Droid, but let's have a look back further down the grid. As we see the back of the grid now just chasing, that is a little bit close there for whoever is in that BMW. Who is in that BMW? That shouldn't be there. It should be Jackson. I think he should probably be ahead. It's fine. They will work it all out themselves. Let's ride on board with our race leader, just bringing the pack nice together in the third sector, making sure everyone is line astern and ready for the start of the race. Wontios Oxide. Wontios Oxide, that'll work. Maybe they could put a little bit of soy sauce as well, you know, underneath each foot, just to give them a little bit of grip on the old feet. As we see these guys now going through the final corner, getting everything nice and warmed up. We are good to go here in the GSMC. Everything is looking perfect. I think our race director is very happy with the proceedings. So we are continuing. So this is going to be an interesting start. Who do we think is going to lead into the first chicanes, guys? Ricky Tan is a very fast starter. He has no ballast on, so I think Ricky Tan starting on the left-hand side of the grid is going to be up there. I reckon he's probably going to nick P2, by the end of turn 1. That is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. Is it just going to be a wonton 1-2 and chase to the end, or is it going to be mixed up with Ricky Tan and Frozen Droid up in there? As we see the wonton boy at the start of the grid. We need a better camera angle on this, really. Let's switch to this slightly. Let's try and get one that sort of encapsulates everyone. Maybe this one. There we go. As we see, the grid has formed. We are now waiting for the lights to go out. Here we go. The lights are on. And it's go, go, go as they go. Spook is a really nice start. Away alongside Twinfro. Twinfro doesn't get as good start as we see Ricky Tan trying to go through the middle of the free here up the inside, but on the outside we have English trying to go around the outside of Ricky Tan, but they leave each other nice space. Ricky Tan stays nicely on the outside. We see Frozen Droid get a little bit spicy on the exit. So Ricky Tan is now looking to go. Look at Frozen Droid extremely wide into the S's, but Ricky Tan slots in behind. As we see the cars rushing through the back here, it looks like everyone may have got through. Okay, David Kruger looks like he dropped right to the back of the grid here. As we see Ricky Tan now desperately trying to get past Frozen Droid in the midsection here, with English 52 and Liam Fraser in the Space Racing team just behind them. We do have a yellow in Sector 1, we have a spinner. We do have a spinner with Jordan at the back of the grid, but he gets underway nicely. So let us run back. Oh, we do have a Wild Boys as well off the edge of the track. Wild Boys in the gravel, but again, he is underway nicely, so he is on his way. So let's move to the front as they go into the start-finish straight. Look at that. That's the coolest guy, I think, making a move on Jack. That is Jack, Mason, and Oblong all line of stun. Look at this. Jack is in the draft of the coolest guy. Can he get a move done into the hard braking as they now head down the front? Guys, look at that. Ricky Tan looks like he's going to make a move on Frozen, doesn't get the move done. We see Jack now through on Mason, gets the car slowed down, but does he get it slowed down? It does, gets the car slowed down, but Mason slides back underneath. Look at that. Mason continues on his way. Jack just outbraked himself a little bit too deep, and he continues on his way, and that is Mason on the way. Frozen Droid and Ricky Tan are close. Are Wild Boys tyres affected going through the rough? Yes, they will be affected. He definitely would have caused some heat build up in those tyres and would have picked up a lot of gravel on those as well. So it does affect and simulate that here in the GSMC. We see Ricky Tan now all over the back of Frozen Droid. Ricky Tan is desperate to get past him as they head on in to finish the first lap here. We do have a yellow in Sector 3. Is that David Kruger? No, they are fine. Wild Boys is fine. Jordan is fine. So everyone is fine and on the way. But look at this. Jack managed to get past Mason. So Mason must have made a mistake, and that is allowing Schmidt as well to jump him as they head on up to the top of the hill. But it looks like Mason's making a move back on Schmidt. Mason up the inside. What a beautiful move, but it looks like Schmidt's going to go back down the outside. Oh, we see a contact at the back there. There's Oblong and David Kruger and Kajaksu, I think, all getting inside, but coolest guy and Schmidt running side by side through the S's. This is tough. Someone's going to give up, but look at that. Schmidt holds on, but Schmidt's going to go over speed here. He's going to have to slow down, or he's going to run wide, but he keeps it together, and Mason on his way. What a great fighter, but look at that. Jack's managed to scamper away up the road as he gets on his way, and it looks like Mason may have just slightly overkilled his tyres there. We are watching Kajaksu and David Kruger now running nose to tail. They are not in the same team. They are in BMWs, but they're not on the same team. And we see David Kruger's actually had a fairly bad start and dropped right down, but look at this. He's going to go up the inside of Kajaksu here. He's going to run him out, so Kajaksu runs wide here. But he does manage to keep the place just as they head on down the back straight, and Oblong is the biggest loser here. But we see Ricky Tan as well, very close to Frozen Droid at the top of the field here. We are just seeing Spook and Twin Flow flexing their muscles and just starting to gap out here. They are one second apart and 2 seconds back to Frozen Droid, as I think Frozen Droid is just starting to suffer with his tyres and the ballast, but probably maybe just taking it easy to start with, to be fair. But who is that just behind? We see coolest guy. Oh, look at this. So we've got Kajaksu, coolest guy, Schmidt, all in a little bubble here. So Mason has managed to get through on these guys, but we've got Schmidt, Kajaksu, David Kruger, and Oblong. Oh, look at this. All a big gaggle as they go through. Kajaksu is up on the inside, I think, as he gets through, but look, he's going to try and go for the inside. Oh, it's contact. Is he going to spin? Oh, Schmidt holds it together. Oh my god, how did Schmidt hold that together? That was incredible. And Oblong is going to be inside. There's going to be a big crash here. Oh, that is extremely close together. It wasn't as big as crash as I thought, but they all managed to hold it together quite nicely. Someone is pulled off to the side of the road here. Who is that? Was that David Kruger off to the side of the road and probably given up some places? I'm not sure what is going on there, but we are seeing this almighty battle as Kajaxi now tries to get alongside, as we see Oblong now looking to go around the outside of Schmidt through the S chicanes here. Look at this, this is incredible. I almost can't speak as we see Schmidt just cutting the corner a little bit there. That's going to compromise him and make him go wide. Oblong's doing a fine job with David Kruger just up behind Oblong. As we see Kruger just trying to put a nose up to the inside of Oblong, is now going to have to go around the outside of Oblong at the next hairpin. And they are side by side and they are near contact. Oh, contact! Kruger goes round. Kruger has spun and he's into the barrier. That is unfortunate from him as he reverses back onto the circuit. Gets the car away. It doesn't hold up Wild Boy, so Kruger now down into 13th place and way back from the field. That is such a shame, but that was a really good battle. It is not shaping out to be his finest race so far, but he's definitely stuck in with the elbows out. So we're just watching Kajaxi with Schmidt now. Schmidt is all over the back of Kajaxi. He's really heavy on the brakes as they fly into the third sector here. The wontons are going to start melting tail ender soon, and then they might think, yeah, they are definitely thinning away. Actually, they haven't pulled away as much as I thought, so they are still 1 second and 2 seconds ahead of third place. So they're kind of maintaining that gap as we're just watching Kajaxi and Schmidt here racing nose to tail as they go through. This is the fight that's happening on the track right now as they go through the final sector here. As we see Schmidt, oh look, that's late on the brakes. He's got so much more confidence in the brakes than Kajaxi does. But that BMW just gets off the corner so well. But look at this, Schmidt needs to pull out to the left now. Schmidt needs to make his intentions known, but we see Kajaxi blocking the inside line here. So Schmidt needs to go up and under as we see Kajaxi going for the wide line. Schmidt doesn't quite get the up and under done, and Kajaxi continues on his way and pulls a slight gap. But Jordan being 50 seconds back for the lead in a 65-second lap. Yeah, Jordan has had a bad time to start. He's down in 14th place. He must have, he definitely had a spin, I think we saw on the opening lap, and that has dropped him way back. And his last lap was a 2:26, and the front runners were doing a 2:07. So yeah, he is struggling. But this is the fight at the moment. This is Kajaxi and Schmidt. Let us listen to the team radio of the Top Gun boys. That is Schmidt breathing heavy, willing this BMW out of the way as he goes through. Look at this, just needs to get the car on the power, but that BMW is just so fast off the line. Oh, we just cut as he said something there. He was waiting for something. As we see Kajaxi now powering down the back straight. We are keeping an eye on everything else. Everything else is sort of status quo. Can he get him under the brakes? Look, it's so much more power on the brakes, so much more confidence. But he can't convert that. As we see Kajaxi actually get a little bit of a wobble on the exit. Can Schmidt convert that into something? He's going to try and go underneath. He's looking at, oh, he covers the curb. Doesn't quite get through, but Kajaxi runs wide again on the exit, so that has allowed Schmidt to catch right up. But Oblong as well is now getting back onto the back of this pack here. And we see David Kruger as well, he's getting onto the tail end of Wild Boys. But look at this, Ricky Tan now hot on the back of Frozen Droid, shall I say, when I get my words out. But let's have a look at this as we see them breaking in. Look at this, Ricky Tan now just trying to make it work as he goes through. Frozen Droid putting up a stellar defence as they get underway. Let us actually ride on board the cockpit of Frozen Droid at the start of the race. So this is with Frozen Droid here. We see 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4, 5, He's absolutely pegging that front. Look at that. He gets it underway. Gets a really good move on Twinflow here. Up into second place. But I think Twinflow, because he's got the inside line, he's just got to send it up the inside and make the move stick. We've got to see Twinflow just appear. There he is. You just see the front of his wheel. And, oh yeah, Frozen just gets a little bit squirrely on the exit there. And that just allows the front boys to escape. That was a very good start by Frozen Joy, but he couldn't make it work. So we are back on board with Frozen Joy as he tries to defend from Rickytan. Rickytan just doesn't seem to have the legs down the straights. It seems like he's much faster in the middle sector than he is down this straight. As he's got a little bit more break in the front. But look at this, actually the gap is coming down. The interval is slightly coming down between, well, Spook actually is gapping Twinflow, but Twinflow is falling back into Frozen Joy. And we're seeing actually a fight here between English 52 and his teammate Liam Fraser. Let's see if they are saying anything. This is the Space Racing team. The Space Racing team is very, very quiet. As it stands, they are not planning anything amongst themselves. They are not looking to swap positions at all. So who else can we watch? Yeah, these two. Oh, look at this. These are very close, actually. So English looks like he made a mistake, and that is going to allow... In space, you can't hear teams' plans. No, absolutely. It's in a vacuum, but we see Liam now shaping up his teammate into turn one. They are nose to tail. Is he going to pull out and make a move? Is English going to defend it? So English goes inside to defend it, and his teammate thinks better off sending one down the inside in the Audi. And they continue on their way. Looks like Ricky Tan has fallen back a little bit from Frozen Joy in P3, so he remains in P4. But we've got a Kajaksu and David Kruger. So Kruger's actually gone through. Oh, we see Kajaksu in the pit lane here. What is Kajaksu doing in the pit lane, I wonder? That is... Oh, it looks like Kajaksu's retiring. Kajaksu has retired from the race. So Kajaksu has retired from the race. That is really unfortunate. Not sure why. He must have had some issues. So Kajaksu is now out of the race, our first DNF of the session. Let's ride back on board with these guys. We see actually Jordan. Yeah, Jordan's just gone past Kajaksu. So Jordan's up now into 14th place here. And we're watching the Space Racing team continue along the way. We still have 28 minutes remaining of the race. Not even halfway, and so much has happened already. This is crazy. But we're just seeing everyone now slowly, steadily settling into their race paces. But Ricky Tan has had a much slower lap this time round. Yeah, he did a 2:09 where Frozen Joy did a 2:07. So Frozen Joy actually the quickest car on the circuit last time round, and he's closed the gap to Twinflow to 1.6 seconds here. So we should see them in the same shot. We do. So they are go to Spook. Must be going for Jordan. Now let's have a look at Spook. Not quite on Jordan. Where is Jordan? Let's have a look. Jordan is here. So Jordan's on the back straight, and Spook has just started the start of the lap. So not quite yet. He is 66 seconds behind, so he needs to be a good double lap before he goes. But yeah, Spook is out at the lead of the race. 2.2 seconds. Twinflow just behind, but Frozen Joy is definitely catching back up to Twinflow. 1.5 seconds now separates these two. Frozen Joy is on a mission for his birthday. Did I say it is his birthday? Happy birthday, Frozen Joy. What's this? Is this Jack and Mason close together here? So they are fairly close together. Yeah, Mason's doing a good time. What's Mason did a 2:09.6, and Jack's last lap was a 2:09.8. So Mason currently the fastest driver on the circuit. We have a yellow in sector 1. Who is that? That is no one that I can see. Oh, it might be Oblong and Mr. Kruger. Yeah, Oblong is on his way. Looks like he's fine. There is no issues there. Oh, I do have a message from Kajaksu though, so let's find out why he retired from the race. Oh, he just said he simply wasn't enjoying the race, so he's called it, which is fine. He didn't have a lot of practice, which is understandable. It's a difficult track if you've had not a lot of practice. to continue. So Mason and Jack are very close together. Mason is definitely chasing him down. Let's listen to the driver message. Maybe we won't go to the drive-by rescue. Everyone is very, very focused these days. The team radio isn't as live as it used to be, so we just have to use it, I think, for when an incident happens and someone flares up. Who else we've got? Oblong and David Kruger. They are fairly close together, but it looks like David is gapping him. Let's push to the front of the grid here. So Frozen Joint is still holding at about 1.5 seconds from Twinflow. Twinflow seems to have got the hurry up. Actually, let's listen to the one from board. They must be talking. They must be talking strategy. You would think they'll be talking strategy, wouldn't you?
I'm going to understeer, I think, a little bit.
So there we go. That is Twinflow saying he is suffering with understeer. So that is probably just starting to scrub his front tyres a little bit and heat them up and causing him a lack of grip in the front, especially through this. Look at Frozen, just chucking that car through there. Looking at that car, is almost sideways going through the S's here. He is absolutely on a mission. Gap still at 1.5 seconds. It's going to be hurting his tyres. We see Ricky Tan has dropped away quite significantly now to 6.6 seconds. So I wonder if his tyres are starting to hurt through this middle phase of the race. There is no one really within battling distance. Let's ride on board. Oh, we see Liam Fraser has had an accident in the Audi. Liam Fraser just spins and gets underway. That has allowed Jack and Mason through. So that is Jack up into P6. So that is a really good spot for Jack up into 6th place, considering where he started. But that is dropped, unfortunately, the Space Racing team of Liam down into 8th place. And a fair way behind the guys that he was ahead. And that's all it takes, unfortunately, just one small mistake and you are at the back of the pack. So let us switch focus to Jack at the moment, because we've got Corliss guy now only 1 second behind him into the braking zone, so he's definitely closing that gap. But he did have a slower lap time last time around, so Jack did a 209.4 and Corliss did a 209.6, so 2 tenths slower. But look at this, Jack sideways through this braking zone. That's going to cost him heavily on the exit here, and Mason is going to capitalise on that massively. So Jack's tyres is going to be struggling. Is the UI very customisable? It is indeed. So as you can see, we do have our GSMC logos all over it. We have the Circuit of Americas up in the top left-hand corner. All of the car stuff that we put is there. A Terabyte says, yay, Jack making his way up the pack. He is indeed making his way up the pack. He is a very steady driver, but he looks like he's starting to struggle a little bit with tyre wear as Mason now steadily hauls him in. We should see as well Spook or Jordan very soon. There's Jordan there, and where is Spook? Spook is going through the S's, so not quite there just yet. But we will keep an eye on seeing Spook carving through the back markers. But Jordan is doing a fine job, only 5 seconds behind Wild Boys. So that is the fight for 12th and 13th place. As we see now Jack going through the S's. Very difficult to follow someone through here, but keep him in the sight. You just need to sort of be patient through there and try and get the car on the rest of the lap. We see Twinflow now on the back of Spook, so Twinflow within 1.8 seconds now with Spook, and Frozen Droid as well. So those three are having a little ding-dong together. Actually, let us run onto our 1v1 battle on this sec so we can see the gap behind these two. So we've got Mason now just 0.8 of a second behind as they go onto the straight. Jack in the fray does actually look like he's gapping a little bit down the straight to the Audi, so he's got a little bit more horsepower, I think. But Mason has definitely got the advantage in the corners. As you see him, look at that, yeah, Mason just gets the car just pitched in very nicely there into the apex. Jack runs a little bit wide, managed to carry a lot more speed through. Where is the main fight? I think this is the main fight. We should stick here. 21 minutes remaining of the race. We see Jack as well. Look at those brakes absolutely glowing as he runs through. Mason drops slightly back to a second here. but the chase is on. He's definitely chasing him down, and he's not going to let him out of his sights. This is looking good. Oh no, we see Mason spins. Mason spins heavily, contact with the wall. Gets the car into reverse, gets it underway, but he's lost one place already. Is he going to lose a second to Schmidt? Looks like Schmidt is going to try and go around the outside of him. Schmidt goes around the outside, he does, so he loses 2 spaces there. Unfortunately for Mason there, the coolest guy, he loses 2 spaces from a little spin. That frees up Jack to continue on his way. That is devastating for Mason there. He was doing such a fine job in hunting him down, but now he's got a new target. He's got Schmidt ahead of him as he now runs slightly right. 20 minutes remaining, as it says at the top of your screens. Let's see if Mason can manoeuvre back past Schmidt and get back up ahead and get into 8th position. But yeah, his tyres are going to be hurting enough. That's been just one little spin on this circuit. It's very, very abrasive, and your tyres will start to cook. And as we see, the gap out the front actually is spreading. We've got 2 seconds between Spook and Twin Flow, and another 2 seconds from Frozen Joy. But they are basically a second a lap between them faster than P4 Ricky Tan, who's in the 209s. I wonder if that's going to hurt their tyres at the end. Can Ricky Tan be saving tyres before the end? As we see we see Mason now just wagging his tail on power down the straight, just trying to desperately get back past Schmidt to keep him within his sights. Let's look here. Where should we actually, let's listen, see if we can listen in to the KRT Racing team. Just lots of heavy breathing as per usual, which is what we love here. We love a bit of heavy breathing. Let's see if Ricky Tan's talking to himself. Is he in a team channel all on his own? Of course he's not talking to himself. More ads! Money, money, money! I'm sorry, I'm dead happy. But it's probably a good point in the race to have some ads. 2 or 4, crikey. That is pretty excessive. As we see now, Mr. Schmidt just ahead of the coolest guys. It's the battle we're watching for P8 and 9th. 8th, 10th ahead, Mason, or the coolest guy, spun just in this part of the track here and lost a couple of positions. So we see Jack as well. So Jack is only 2 seconds behind English, and he's setting about a similar lap time actually. 2:10 the last lap. English 52 set a 2:10.6, Jack a 2:10.4. So Jack is slowly starting to reel that gap in. It looks like also Ricky Tan is in the 2:10 as well. Everyone's slightly slowing down now. I wonder if the tyre wear is just getting to that point now where... Oh, as we see a spinner. Is that English 52 in the middle of the track? No, that isn't. That is Liam Fraser. Liam Fraser spins as well, so he's now back behind Schmidt and the coolest guy. So Liam Fraser has a spin through the beginning S's. And we're back to Dead Happy. Welcome back. Advertising your old university. Maybe you want to go back. Who knows? So we see Liam Fraser had a spin in the Space Racing team through the S's, and unfortunately now has dropped down into 9th place. That is now Schmidt to 7th and 8th, but these guys are now all close together. They are within a second of each other. Let us extend that battle to this. So we can see all 3. There we go. Oh, the droid's tyres are dying. Oh, are they? A frozen droid's tyres dying. He could well be. Let's listen in to the Top Gun Racing team. Just more heavy breathing, as is tradition.
Alright. I'm just going to end the P3 then.
Yeah, it definitely dropped down in pace to a 209 with the 1-ton boys are still in the 208s and setting good lap times. Seems like the rest of the grid is just starting to slow down a little bit faster than the 1-ton boys up ahead. It looks like they've probably got this one in the back with Spook gonna lead from from first from the first flag to the last flag. But as you see, actually, Frozen Droid, is he gaining a little? Is Pure Flow made a little mistake? No, they're just within a couple of seconds of each other. But as we see, actually, Mason running wide here. This is going to allow Liam Fraser up right behind him as they power through. You've got to be brave to overtake through this section of the track here. As we see, he has to lift off. You see the pops of flames out of the exhaust as he lifts off the track. But Mason runs wide. Oh, he's got to get the car back under the track. Does so nicely. But look at this. He is literally shoving him down the track. Is Liam in the sister Audi team. As they go through this tight and twisted section, it just doesn't seem to ever end. It's right on board with Liam as they cut down to the back of the straight. Is he going to make a move on him here? He's looking, he's having a little look. Oh, is it Mason? Oh, look at that. Mason goes to defend. But that is going to open him up on the exit here. Look at this, yeah. Opens him up right on the exit. So they're going to be side by side drag race down to the end of the straight. Look at that. Mason now is behind, slips into the slipstream. So Mason now loses a place down into 9th place. And this battle has allowed Schmidt just to quietly disappear off. As we see Mason now looking to go back on the attack. Does he get the car slowed down? Doesn't quite. But oh, look at that. Kruger goes wide. This is going to allow the coolest guy to try and go up the inside. But the corner, does the slipstream help the front car? Oh, it does a slight bit in the GT3s, but they are not aero dependent. When we raced the LMP2 cars in the GSME season with Ricky Tan, the slipstream is massive on those because they are massively aero dependent, but they're not so much on these cars. So there is a little bit of draft, but it's not as prominent as other series. So we do see Liam Fraser get the better of the coolest guys. Coolest guy just runs wide there on the exit and over that big old sausage curb. So Liam Fraser is up into 8th place and he's on his way. But look at this. This is going to be our new battle. Jack on English 52. Jack is down to 1.1 seconds behind. He's been slowly clawing back. Jack with a 2:09.6 in the last lap and English with a 2:10.8. Can Jack get English? We've got 13 minutes remaining of the session. Jack is doing a fine job. But we see Liam Fraser and coolest guys side by side. We see one running wide. Where's the coolest guy? Coolest guy is in the barrier hard. Has he got big damage? Can he continue? Let us watch here. Yeah, so it looks like Mason is fine to continue. We'll just keep an eye on him. Yeah, he's definitely fine to carry on. That is a lucky help. Lucky help, what we're talking about. That is lucky that he escapes because that could be a big accident through that sector. So that is the coolest guy down now into P10, loses another position, but still just within the points. But here we have the battle for 6th place between English 52 and Jack in the drive-by racing liveried Ferrari. 1.2 seconds behind. Can he get this move done? Just watching the gaps up ahead. The gaps up ahead are very, very steady and very consistent. Frozen Droid there with a 2:08 on his last lap. Twin Flow with a 2:08 on his. Spook with a 2:09. Hypothetically, if you had two teammates drafting, could they produce an advantage driving in tandem? It wouldn't work well on this track. It does work on tracks like Monza, but the coordination is, you have to be spot on with the coordination. It's very, very difficult. If we had a NASCAR event, then yes, that absolutely helps massively in NASCAR. But it's not so, it's probably worth 5/1000ths of a second across this lap because it's just so twisted. There's only one straight, so it's not really worth the effort in trying to drag another car along. But for some tracks and some series, yes, it definitely would work like that. You definitely would tow it. At Monza, for instance, you would tow a teammate down the long straights and give them an advantage, for sure. So we are back with Jack. Just lost out a little bit, but looks like coolest guy might be back on the attack with David here. 1.4 seconds behind. We'll keep an eye on that. Have we had Jordan been taken by a spook yet? Very, very close. I'm dead happy. So Spook and Jordan are in the same sector as it stands. Oh, but look at this. This is flagged up. Jack and English close together. What have they done? So English has picked up his pace, 209.8, and Jack with a 209.7 on his last trip round. So English is definitely picking up his pace. Let's just see if Space Racing are too good at all. And they are not. They are dead silent. Nope, dead happy. We just checked that. So Spook hasn't quite captured Jordan. So Jordan, he is not far behind him though. They're within the same sector. So here's Jordan down the start-finish straight, and here's Spook just starting the start-finish straight. So they are very, very close. But yeah, look at these. Oh, you see Frozen Droid actually just running wide on the exit there, kicking up a load of dust. But yeah, Ricky Tan has fallen back 15 seconds now behind these top three. 10 minutes remaining of the race. Things are starting to settle down, but we're going to see some tyres going off, some mistakes being made, and things like that. But so far, it has been a relatively clean race for everyone. We should see Spook shortly catching up to Jordan, I would reckon. Maybe in the second or third sector. What's a good lap time for this track? So they all predicted that a 207 to a 208 would be a good race pace. But as we're seeing the tyres dropping off, we're seeing the front runners in the 209s, late 208s. But the majority of everyone is doing 210s to 211s is the sort of midfield. Terabyte, is English 52 a new driver to the GSMC? He is. So he did race in the last race, but I think he raced under a different name or a different banner. But yeah, we do have 3 new drivers here. So we have English 52 in the Space Racing team. We have his teammate, which is Liam Fraser, who is also known as the Flying Rhino. He's his teammate in the Space Racing team. And then we also have David Kruger in the BMW here. And he does have a teammate of Hugo who unfortunately hasn't shown up this evening, but he does have a new teammate. So we do have 13 teams now signed up to the GSMC, which, yeah, is pretty incredible. I got shot. I was thinking it was 1 minute 8, not 2 minutes 8. Not so Spook, not close. Yes, exactly, yeah. It is 2 minutes 8, not 1 minute 8, yeah. I get what you're saying, yeah. But they are within spotting distance now, so we can see Spook. If we ride on board with Spook, and we can see Jordan just up ahead, going up the hill. And look, this is actually a really good view to see the hill here at COTA. Look at the size of this mountain. Look, you can't see the apex of the corner as you climb up the hill. Hard on the brakes. Look, you just got to spot that little marker as you get the car turned in. And Spook actually does a 208.5 on his last lap round, so he's really putting the effort in. Jack has fallen away a little bit from English, so English seems to be putting his foot down a little bit. Jack may have run wide because he doesn't have a lap time for the previous lap. Who else have we got here? So we've got Jordan back here. Jordan is now 11 seconds off Wild Boys, who is 26 seconds off Oblongs. They are back there in 11th, 12th, and 13th. 205 to 206 is asking. That's a qualifying race pace. That's got to be qualifying for sure, because they are not doing anywhere near that in the race. Oh, as we see Jordan now making a slight mistake on the exit, so this is a blue flag zone now, so Jordan is going to be overtaken by Spook. We see Jordan now just moving over to the side of the track to let Spook through. Is he going to let Twin Flow through as well? He comes back and covers the line, so Twin Flow is going to have to find his way through in the next section. Let's ride with Twin Flow as he does that, as we see Jordan now going through. Don't forget, this is GT racing, so blue flags aren't the same as Formula 1. You do not, as the lapped car, have to get out of the way as Jordan's been doing. You do not have to do that. It is up to the faster car to find their way through. The blue flag is simply a warning to say a faster car is approaching. But Jordan is doing a fine job in letting the faster cars through and not holding them up too much and disrupting the flow of the race. There we go. Jordan is a lap down. Let us then quickly run through our order, shall we? So we have got Spook in P1 with 5 minutes remaining, Twin Float in P2, Frozen Droid in 3rd place, Ricky Tan in 4th, English in 5th place, who actually isn't that far behind Ricky Tan, only 3.2 seconds. Jack just behind those in 6th place, Schmidt in 7th place, Liam Fraser in 8th, David Kruger in 9th, Mason in 10th, Oblong, his teammate, is in the 11th, Wild Boys 12th, and Jordan, who are currently watching on board, is in 13th. Terry Ross says, fair play, Jordan. He's shown true commitment. Absolutely. Yep, he's shown true commitment. Definitely learning the ropes the hard way. Been chucked right in at the deep end, but he continues to go. He grows every day. Every lap that he races, he continues to grow with us here. And yet, doing a fine job letting the race continue on its way while still maintaining his race. So, yeah, fair play to Jordan. Good on you, mate. Let's watch this battle here for a little bit. So we've got English 52 and Jack. Jack is hovering around the 1.2 to 1.3 seconds. As we see English losing it into the barrier hard. English 52, as we just jumped on board, has spun hard and hit into the barrier. That is a real shame there from English 52, but it gets back underway. So that has dropped him into 6th place because Schmidt capitalised. So Schmidt is still a good 6 seconds behind. Askey says he has improved massively over the last few races. Absolutely, Askey, he definitely has. But yeah, English 52, what a shame. Just spun there. Let's ride on board. Let's watch a replay of that, shall we? Who should we cut to? Let's watch with Jack to see what that looked like on board with Jack. So we've got Jack just following through English 52 as he just goes through a little, just put that oversteer and into the barrier, and Jack is on his way, loving life. So yeah, that is a real shame from English 52, so that has dropped him down into 6th place with Schmidt just on his tail. So that has freed up Jack, who is now into P5. What a nice race from Jack here, a really good encouraging race into some good points for the drive-by racing team. He is only 4.2 seconds behind Ricky Tan. In fact, look, you can just see him up ahead. So Ricky Tan, what's Ricky Tan done? 2:10.2 on the last lap. Let's see what Jack's done on this lap as he crosses the line now. And Jack does a 2:10.2 as well. So they are basically on similar straps, really. 2 minutes and 58 seconds remaining of the race. There's probably 2 more laps to go. We have pretty stagnant 1, 2, and 3 with Spook, Info, and Frozen Droid. Let us ride with Mr. Ricky Tan. Jack is 4.2 seconds, shall I say, behind. Ricky Tan looks like he's doing a fine job in keeping the car going. He was suffering with overheating tyres in practice. Made some setup changes to try and alleviate that. Yeah, he's doing a nice job in the Bromboys liveried Aston Martin in P4. What else have we got here? Actually, shall we have, just for the fun of it, shall we look at the English 52 replay again? But from on board with Mr. English. Oh look, he just catches the curb there. Do you see that? So he hits the curb on the inside left, unsettled the car proper bounces a little bit, and it just spins him out. With worn tyres, that is going to be absolutely deadly. He's going to be kicking himself with that one. That is really unfortunate, but he's only lost 1 position. Schmidt is chasing him down, but he's 5 seconds behind, so he's going to have to do a lot to catch him. He's got 2 laps remaining. What's Spook on? As we see Spook now, actually, good time to jump on board. He's now catching a Wild Boys, the wildest of all the boys. Wild Boys runs wide, and Spook gets past very nicely as they head on up into 2-1. Looks like Wild Boys has eased off the throttle as well to allow Twin Flow to nicely slide through before turn 1. And we see a Wild Boys in the drive-by racing livery team. Did I mention Wild Boys makes all of our liveries here at the GSMC? We are massively thankful to this gentleman for all the hard work he puts in pre-season. He does them for us here at the GSMC and in the GSME. I think you can all agree it makes a huge difference to the racing, so we get to see exactly who's who, what's what, and it adds some personalities to everything. So we do appreciate our very own Wild Boys, who also has some new racing equipment, so he should be stepping up in the leads anytime soon. 31 seconds remaining of the race. This is gonna be the last wrap of the race, I believe. So we've got Spook ahead of Twinflow and Frozen Droid. The gaps between them are 2.5 seconds and 4.3 seconds. Ricky Tan is a long way behind. It looks like Frozen Droid still maintaining a 208, so he's doing a fine job. Can Jack catch Ricky Tan? So Jack is now only 2.6 seconds behind, but it's going to be a big ask to catch Ricky Tan and overtake him before the end of this race. Let's move that to interval so you guys can see the interval on the screen there. We don't need to see that. We can just pop the driver box up as we watch Spook. Now the time is 0:00. That is 40 minutes complete. This is the last couple of corners for Spook, as we are watching Spook now through the penultimate corner with his teammate Twinflow. Spook leads from flag to finish. What an amazing job. Twinflow Resource Management has been really good to keep 2.5 on Spook as Frozen drops 5 to 7. Absolutely. Twinflow has done an amazing job. So we see Spook crossing the line. Amazing job. Twinflow in second place. Frozen Droid now crossing the line in third place, and we see Wild Boys finishing a lap down. Look at this, Ricky Tan is now catching up into Jordan, so that is going to hamper him a little bit. Jordan doesn't need to give way really. Jordan runs wide, Ricky Tan slivers on through the final corner. Good race from Ricky Tan into P4 with the Bron Boys team, as we see Jack also crossing the line, and Jordan has finished as well. Let us ride with English as he goes through the penultimate corner with Schmidt just behind. English is going to cross the line and finish in P6. What a good job from English 52, as we see Schmidt just behind him into P7. And Liam Fraser, in his first ever race, finishes in P8. I say first ever race with us here at the GSMC. Terabyte says, great race and superb commentary. Thanks, Bruce, and look forward to the next one. Thank you very much, Terabyte. The next race will be next weekend, and we will be at Hungary. As we are watching Mason now, he might not finish, but I think there's some donuts and some formation flying going on at the front of the grid. Look at this, 1, 2, and 3 down the back straight. They couldn't be happier. Let's see if we get to see Mason cross the line before it ends. What we'll do is we see English, Schmidt, Fraser, all those have gone to the pit, so we're just going to watch the coolest guy crossing in the final points paying position in 10th place, crosses the line and finishes 10th. He had a very interesting rated Mason. I think he might be happy with that to get his elbows out and get a little bit of battling. Good job from him. And do we have Oblong is in the pit lane as well. Wild Boys has finished, so everyone has basically finished. Let me run through our schedule. So we do have the Hungaroring next on the 30th of July. Then we have a week off. Then we are at our Super Sprint at Imola at round 5 on the 13th of August. So that is a 20-minute sprint race followed by a reverse grid 20-minute sprint race. So I'm looking forward to that one. So that is going to be massively fun. Well, I think that is about everything here for us at the GSMC. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you next week. Thank you very much to Ken, our race director. As always, we will see you then. Goodbye.